Okay, at the forge today, I've got to make a forge a froe. I've been asked to do a bit of a shingling job. So to make shingles, we have to make the right tool for the right job. While I'm in here today bashing metal, I'm gonna make or start to forge out a skinning knife. Now I've drawn up some plans. So we're going to go for the bottom one here today, or at least try and shape out most of it. Now the steel which I'm going to use for that, or the froe, I'm either going to use a plough disc, or I'm going to forge out a bit of leaf spring. The knife is going to be forged out of this steel here, out of this bit of stuff. So Sport Code model 43, made in Australia. So this older style, it's the outside of the barrel's the same sort of material as the inside. It hasn't got a chrome moly bore at all. It's the steel, the whole lot should be hardenable. So that's been run through the chamber itself. I'll use this timber on the handle later on. Real nice looking timber. So this, I'll get the grinder, I'll split it this way, I'll put in the forge and open it up, and that'll give me a pretty good bit of meat there to work with. Alrighty, I'll get this forge up to the temperature and find a piece of metal for the froe. This piece here, I'm just flattening out, and it's going to be my test piece. So I'm going to harden this first to see if this barrel's actually hardenable. the looks of that, it won't. The file is taking pieces out of the steel as such, but no, I don't think this is any good. I can re-harden, and I can also try hardening with water. That could be the next bit for it. That is harder, but I won't use that as a knife. I want something that I can guarantee will last. So it's not a waste of a rifle either. It was already deactivated, so it's useless to anyone unless you just want to keep it as a wall hanger or a dust collector. But I've had no problems with using Lithgow rifle barrels before in the past. That's a pretty good quality steel. Alrighty, I've still got the froe to go. So it's partially cut out as a Holden Rodeo leaf spring. that's going to be a eyelet for the handle. So it looks rather large, but given what this tool has to go through, splitting through Australian frickin' hardwood, and then the handle goes on there, which is used to also lever, so we want something quite large on it. Now I just ran a beater weld through the inside here. I don't want to have to bug around today trying to forge weld this shut, so I just want to make a pretty functional tool still. So while the metal is hot, just run the beater weld, so that should be pretty good now. I'll just clean that up and I'll show you what it looks like. Alright, the rest of that's ready to go in the forge now. At the moment I've just lined up the eyelet with the rest of the blade. So next heat I'm going to run bevels up the cutting edge and try and keep it flat as well. As I'm hammering bevels in from here down, this blade will bow outwards like a banana. So at the same time hammer them out and try and hammer it flat again. To do a bottle change, but got the bevels done. It's all lined up. I'm going to do some final finishings on the lining up the blade. But handle and spine's good, and you can see how deep the bevels are. So this isn't made to be extremely sharp. It just needs a edge I'll give it a little bit of a grind just to fix that edge up, and that should be about it. Harden, and I'll re-temper. Going to heat up the whole blade and let it cool down. Doing that will enlarge all the steel molecules and then let them relax. So they'll relax and form a bit more of a, I guess, a natural sort of state which means the steel's then soft. So I'll be able to grind in the edges easier. Now just before hardening, I'll get it nice and hot again, which will then re-enlarge all the steel molecules and then quickly cooling in oil. That will pretty much freeze them all in position. So doing that, the steel is brittle. Putting them back in the oven to re-temper it. So this is where I'm going to watch the colours, not so much the time and temperature. While temperature's still a big thing, it'll go in at 200 degrees, but I'll keep watching the colours, what the steel will change to. Do is let it sit in here and let it soak maybe for about 10-20 minutes, maybe not 20 but about 10 minutes. So doing this will also burn out any of the shit that's in the metal, and it'll refine the steel, so which will make it also a better and stronger blade. So if it does break, the blade or the steel itself should look as like silk, like the grain structure itself, not really coarse like the, say, the end of that brick there. This is the basic part of the froe. Got a blade, handle, bevels hammered in. So I'll give it a basic grind. No, it really does not need much at all. So forging from this point down has kept the material, or the same amount of weight and material there. So I just have to take the smallest bit out of it and It really does not need to be sharp at all, as long as it has a bit of a edge that can bite in like a chisel. That's all it's pretty much required of it. First one's going in. This one preheats the oil. This has been soaking in here for about 10 minutes. Just flip this over and so I can heat up the end part. It's nice and hard. The file's not biting in, it's just skating off. It's come out nice and straight, no wobs. So I'll put this up to cool, we'll clean it back and I'll go set the oven. So this is a outer bearing case. The rifle proved to be shite, so I'm using some other better known material to make the skinner. So feel better just knowing that this is a better material to use anyway. This is a material pile. So I've got tools, I've got hammers, other bits and pieces. like wagon wheels, these big round things there, they're bearing races. All very good reusable materials. So all the other steel I use is I buy flat bar stock, so it's already a really good material to start with. It's just easy to work to start because it's already in the all softened. So these are just pre-cut out blanks, so when people want a kitchen knife, a bit easy for me to just get started again. Now these little fellas here, these will be on the raffle table, so I'll get into these today as well. So we got crow's ash. So this tomahawk and knife, these two will go together as a pair on our raffle table for the upcoming national shoot at the archery club. So I'll do more on these in the next couple of days. So you'll be able to see the end product. Okay, I've got this forged out. A little bit of crap I picked up and I didn't see it there, and I hit it with a hammer and it's got a bit of a mark. Got it forged down to about 3.5 mil. So when this cools, I'll just draw the knife on there. I'm just going to cut it out with the grinder. It's going to be a bit difficult with this stuff to actually drill through without a cobalt bit. So I'm going to have to hot punch some handle holes. Oh, sorry, the holes for the pins for the handle. So I'll hot punch them in, and I'm going to try and put a bit of a hole in the blade so the finger can go through it. Nice and comfy. It's a good size skinner. So these are made for 2 or 3 fingers on the handle and just holding the blade, and you can use it to push through. Give them a bit of a sand with just a flap disc. So it's all cleaned up, ready to go in the oven. So when it does come out, or I'll check in about 2 hours time, and it should be a bronzy gold colour, like maybe a straw. So I can put it in a little bit longer and get it to come out to a strawy purple colour. I've just hardened this little skinner. So she skates off. Okay, I finished cutting out the handle materials. So this is crow's ash. Tomahawk's not quite finished yet, it still has to be sanded, and I'm going to blacken the steel so it matches the blade. So for pins I'm using brass tubing. for the knife, crow's ash, and I've got a pair of copper pins left, so I'm going to use these in it. Now these pins are two-piece screw together. So this is pretty much roughly what it's going to look like. I've got a 2-pack epoxy tonight. It's got to be glued, let cure for about 72 hours, and then re-sand and shape the handles. This pair here, this is for the raffle table for our local archery club. So I just pulled the froe out of the oven. This is the 200 degrees for 2 hours. This is the first cycle. So I'll leave this out until it's at a room temperature, or at least cool enough to handle, and then I'll put it back in for a second cycle.
Really cut the shingles.
Yeah. First one come off nice.
Hello, it's John. Hello, Axel.
Oh, need a better hammer.
Come on.
Two shingles.
Yeah, I've got it.
This is you saw before, it does its job. There's no chips, nicks, curls, rolls, whatever you want to call all that stuff. And it's sharp, but these aren't meant to be shaving sharp.